you know, Miss Brie Larson, the activism actress, the person that wants to treat Captain Marvel as an activism movie because she is so into diversity and she is so into helping out the little people that need their help because she's such a powerful woman.
So it's been a pretty long week for me. This is actually the 4th video I've recorded, and I've got to record 2 more at the weekend. So I've been very, very busy, and a lot of these videos take a lot of research. So I thought for this video today, and it's a Friday, so I like to have a bit more fun with my videos, I thought we'd look at Brie Larson and the Brie Larson obsession. Now, I have made a couple videos on this before, mainly just talking about why they're obsessed with her, and talking about like how they make like these weird fan fictions of reality, as I always like to say, pitting Brie Larson against Gal Gadot on feminism. And it's really, really funny how they frame this stuff.
Well, Gal Gadot has something to say about Wonder Woman 1984 that goes directly against the narrative that Brie Larson was trying to spread and continues to spread with her movies and her craziness.
But I haven't made a video on Brie Larson in like, I don't know, a year or more. So I thought I would do one today just to catch up with the anti-SJWs and just look at how ridiculous they still are about her. Because the reason I even thought about making this video in the first place is because I like to keep up with what anti-SJWs are crying about. So I just was looking at like different anti-SJW YouTube channels, and I kept seeing Brie Larson pop up, and I'm like, what year is this? Is it 2019 all over again? Is this 2018? Why do these people still hate this woman? As you guys probably realize, it's completely unhinged. And when I'm like watching Brie Larson content, or when I'm reading about her controversies, they're so mild, and I'm like, can you not find a better target? Because her politics aren't even radical, they're pretty liberal. And also I find funny, as you're going to see in this video, when she actually does something worthy of like slight criticism involving like NFTs and the metaverse, these guys don't actually want to criticize her on this, because ultimately these people are grifters and they know some of their fan base might like NFTs and cryptocurrency. So unlike leftist people who, like me, absolutely hate this stuff, they're not going to come down on the side of these things. And then obviously in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking these guys do lots of sponsorships. I wouldn't put it past any of them to do an NFT promotion. So today what we're going to do is just like go through the original controversy, why people started to hate Brie Larson, how ridiculous that was, and then just talk about what they are moaning about today. Did you know apparently anti-SJWs are massive fans of Shirley Temple? This is going to sound weird right now, but you'll understand what I'm saying by the end of the video. Also, Kavernacle, make a video that is under 30 minutes challenge. Basically impossible. I'm going to try and keep this a bit shorter, but even when I try and keep things short, I can never keep them short. I just don't like to leave anything out, but let's see how this video goes. But before we go any further, please like the video and maybe comment if you have anything to say to support my channel and support the video with the algorithm. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, at the Kavernacle on Twitter and on Instagram. If you want to support my channel going forward, no matter what happens with monetization and things like that, please check out my Patreon. I want to build up as many $1 to $3 patrons as possible, and you get my Nintendo Switch friend code, and you get access to the private patrons Discord server, like I said earlier this week. Please give me a message on Twitter and Instagram to get these things. I'm going to have my Patreon stuff sorted by the end of the month, but I just can't send links out at the moment. So please give me a message if you sign up. Also, go check out my second channel, the Kavernacle Extra, for archives of my live streams. So Brie Larson is, of course, most famous for playing Captain Marvel in the MCU. I haven't actually seen Captain Marvel. It's just one of those movies I didn't really care to go to the cinema and watch. I think it was around the time that I started to go off the MCU massively, because it felt like very oversaturated. I just wasn't interested in the Captain Marvel characters so much, but inherently, just like the trailers for this film already whipped the anti-SJWs into a frenzy. Remember, this is like post Last Jedi, where these guys basically just reacted negatively to any depiction of like strong female characters like Captain Marvel. And honestly, even from like a feminist point of view, I don't find Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman that compelling. But like these females who are essentially like goddesses, super powerful, have no real flaws. I find characters like maybe like Ellie and Abby, who ironically these guys will hate, from The Last of Us to be like really great female characters, and it has like the feminine side, and it's just a lot more complex and realistic compared to like Gal Gadot and Brie Larson playing these superheroes who are basically women without any blemishes. Of course, both are like very attractive as well, so that adds into it, but these guys just hate it because of like pure bigotry. They just cannot stand Brie Larson, also a woman who does sometimes talk about left politics as well. And that is when they really, really started to hate her. So she was accepting an award and she made this speech talking about film critics not being diverse enough based on, I guess, the population of the United States. Like, you're going to watch this, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to agree with it. You're not going to think it's the most controversial thing ever. So let's play you what the Anti-SJWs originally started going absolutely insane over. And this is really where their Brie Larson obsession kicked into another gear.
So earlier this week, USC Annenberg's Inclusive Initiative released findings that 67% of the top critics reviewing the 100 highest grossing movies in 2017 were white males. Less than a quarter were white women, and less than 10% were unrepresented men. Only 2.5% of those top critics were women of color. So you're probably thinking right now, like, wow, that super doesn't represent the country that I live in, and that's because that's true. This is a huge disconnect from the US population breakdown of 30% white men, 30% white women, 20% men of color, and 20% women of color. On top of all of this, am I saying that I hate white dudes? No, I'm not. But what I am saying is that if you make a movie that is a love letter to women of color, there is an insanely low chance a woman of color will have the chance to see your movie and review your movie. Other people besides white dudes like Star Wars and would love the opportunity to do a set visit. And I'm also saying I don't hate white dudes. I'm just saying we need to be conscious of our bias and do our part to make sure that everyone is in the room. Good reviews out of festivals give small independent films a fighting chance to be bought and seen. Good reviews help films gross money. Good reviews slingshot films into awards contenders. A good review can change your life. It changed mine. We are expanding to make films that better reflect the people that buy movie tickets, but they are not allowed enough chances to read public discourse on these films by the people that these films were made for. I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what that film meant to women of color, to biracial women, to teen women of color, to teens that are biracial.
So while watching that clip again, I'm thinking about, like, why did they pick up on this specifically? I think mainly it's not about, like, the substance of what she's saying, which these anti-SJWs actually ignore what she's saying. It's mainly the one part about a 40-year-old white man watching Wrinkle in Time, and that she makes little jokes that she's not saying she hates all white men. It's just like a joke, isn't it? But because she said that, it like pricked up their ears, and they're like, she's attacking white men. We must all go crazy. We must make like 1 million videos talking about how Brie Larson essentially hates men, hates white men, is essentially bigoted against them in their insane rants. So just going to play you a couple clips from some of my favorite anti-SJW channels.
Curious statements about Brie Larson in the early stages of the Captain Marvel movie, essentially saying, I don't want to hear what a white dude has to say. The non-white dudes could be making different choices with their time, but of course, if they're not there, it must be because of some invisible, like, there are too many men in any one position thing. If you change anything in that sentence, there are too many women, people wouldn't approve of it. But because it's white men, it's universally approved, which is a disgusting double standard.
You know, Miss Brie Larson, the activism actress, the person that wants to treat Captain Marvel as an activism movie because she is so into diversity and she is so into helping out the little people that need their help because she's such a powerful woman, a powerful white woman, and she is here to take the amazing platform that she has gotten herself to help the little people. Let me help you, minorities. Let me help you, other women, because I'm so great. I am so much better than you, and I am going to reach upon you with my white privilege. Yourself, right, Brie Larson? That's what you think? You think that everybody else can't do it themselves. They need your help. because you're such an egomaniac. Act like you're better than all white people and I'm the only white person that's gonna reach down and help all of the minorities and all of the women because I am Brie Larson. I am so much better than everyone else.
It was just insane. This is like the origins of them being whipped into such a frenzy by all of this. But like they said, they don't actually engage with the actual argument. Like, what did she say there that was so controversial to them? Like, it's just the fact, isn't it? It's like most American film critics are white men. Like, that is just a fact. Now, the Quartering has a great take where he says this is just because minorities don't want to be film critics.
Non-white dudes could be making different choices with their time.
Oh yes, we all live in this meritocracy where you can decide to have any job you want, and just so happens that most minorities just don't like films and they don't want to review them, and loads of white men just love films and want to review them. It's totally ridiculous, and it's like a really, really fair point, because film critics shape the discourse on a lot of these films. If they are disproportionately white men, then it's going to be skewed to their, I guess, lived-in experience, anecdotal experience, and they might not engage with a lot of films that talk about certain issues. And as like a white man myself who like often reviews media, I take like absolutely no offense to that at all. I don't know why these guys all thought that it was her saying if you're a white guy, your opinion's irrelevant or you can't have an opinion. All she wants to have is a more, I guess, equal base of reviewers who can engage with different stories in a different way. You can even take like the racial stuff out of that. Like, if you're an American, films set in like specific parts of America, maybe where you grew up, are going to resonate with you more. If you grew up in Texas in the 1950s, you're probably going to resonate more with Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life than someone like me who was born in the 1990s in England. You can make it like a broader part of like representation and everything like that. And often if you make these stories, you probably appreciate reviews from people who maybe could recognize the stories you're telling. Pretty sure these comments would have flown under the radar unless she specifically said white men. And like I said, they do not engage with the argument. Now, from here spawned a like industry of Brie Larson hate videos. And honestly, even though we're having fun with this, it actually is really disgusting, and you can see the bigotry that fuels this stuff, that they literally just target this one woman. And again, not the most controversial person. Even when she was talking about the reviewer stuff, it's not like she went into like, oh, the reason we do not have diverse film critics is because of this like economic system that is intertwined with a bigoted system that means it keeps people from minorities down, doesn't let them access higher education as much, doesn't let them access as much wealth or go to colleges or go to film school, which could actually allow them to be film critics. She didn't even say stuff like that, and they're still going absolutely insane about it. It's literally, I just think, the white man part. So the Quartering was like obviously the most famous for making loads of videos on Brie Larson, but it wasn't just him. It was pretty much all of them, like Geeks and Gamers, that Ryan Kinnell guy. It made a lot of these guys' channels because these videos were so popular, and they just constantly made massive like controversies over everything Brie Larson said and did. And what is actually pretty disgusting is that like on her first YouTube video, all the comments are just from Anti-SJWs brigading the channel. That's literally it. And what did she do that was so wrong? Why does she deserve this hate? For pointing out a true fact that most film critics are disproportionately white men. Again, does that really deserve such hatred, even if you don't agree with it? Of course, they were also making videos at the time. She signed something saying that the police should be defunded, and these guys, of course, as right-wingers, are all simps for the police.
Leave it to a couple of high-profile Marvel actresses to take it upon themselves to call to defund the police departments across America, because I'm sure that's something that'll make everybody safer.
You would have thought this whole Brie Larson thing might have ran out of steam eventually. Like, how many videos on Brie Larson can you make? She doesn't even give that many public comments on lots of things to do with controversial politics. Now, recently she's been in their crosshairs again, kind of, for a couple things. So I want to focus on the two things first that they probably should be more critical of her for, but they aren't. So Brie Larson promoted both the metaverse and NFTs. So just an article summarizing this stuff. Brie Larson NFT controversy explained as MCU star's metaverse tweet comes under fire. After receiving a lot of flack last month for endorsing NFTs, Captain Marvel star Brie Larson has once again fallen into controversy with her recent tweet about the metaverse. On Thursday, March 17th, Larson took to Twitter to promote Someplace, which claims to offer mobile metaverse experiences and to make digital collectibles accessible. In a video tweeted by Larson, the 32-year-old star's metaverse avatar was seen in a private gallery showcasing the NFT art pieces she owned. She is also seen exploring the digital environment while interacting with her associates' avatars. Mimicking the events of February when the star updated her profile picture to an NFT art owned by her, Brie Larson faced much criticism from her followers over the promotion of NFTs. The controversy began on February 4th when Larson changed her Twitter profile picture to an NFT artwork by Vivara LA's collection Flower Girls NFT. Along with Larson, actresses Gwyneth Paltrow, Eva Longoria, and Reese Witherspoon supported the NFT artist by changing their profile pictures to her art. At the time, many speculated that the actresses were paid to promote the non-fungible token. Much to fans' chagrin, all the celebrities promoting the digital art pieces received severe backlash for supporting the new digital trend. Many fans replied to Brie Larson's promotion by pointing out the negative impact of NFT creations and trade. As per her profile on the OpenSea trading platform, Brie Larson currently owns more than 19 NFT art pieces. However, more digital art could be owned by her on other accounts. One of the primary reasons why the MCU actress receives so much flack over these collections is possibly because Larson uses Ethereum to purchase NFTs. So again, I have like a pretty neutral opinion of Brie Larson, and I'm defending her from criticism of what she said in the past, but even like I can say that's a bad thing to do. Like, NFTs are a pump and dump scam. What she was doing with these actresses seems like a pump and dump scam in that they're all collaborating together to promote this stuff. But yeah, using Ethereum, NFTs, cryptocurrency, very, very bad for the environment. If you claim to care about progressive causes as Brie Larson does, then why are you doing this? Why are you endorsing and promoting NFTs with your massive social media platform? And it's because money is more important to you than certain social causes. Again, I don't really care much for Brie Larson. I'm defending her points of view, but yeah, it's just pure greed. And I don't understand why these celebrities do so much with cryptocurrency and NFTs. Like, can you imagine being as like wealthy as someone like Brie Larson and those other actresses I mentioned? Can you imagine having like Marvel movies lined up, which you're going to star in, make even more money? Can you imagine having like a pretty good YouTube following, social media following, where you could be sponsored by so many brands that aren't controversial, where you could even make your own stuff and promote it, and you could, you know, appeal to all this social justice you claim to care about on your own YouTube channel, but instead you double down on something everyone hates for very good reason, because you're a sellout, essentially. I just do not understand why celebrities are so greedy for money. Like, seriously, like, she's an actress as well, a popular actress. It's not like she's like a mid-tier athlete who might need savings for the future. I feel like she's going to be around for a very long time. If you star in multiple Marvel movies and can't make those savings last, then you seriously need to get some financial help. But would you be surprised that I'm more critical of Brie Larson on this than the anti-SJWs who hate her? Again, this is like a very legit reason to criticize Brie Larson, but these guys don't want to do it on this specific issue. So the Quartering and some others all say they like do not understand NFTs to make a comment. People on Twitter don't understand NFTs.
So Brie Larson has managed to do it again. She's doubled down on NFTs. And if you don't remember, she got a lot of people quite heated about that because her fan base, which all lean pretty much a particular direction politically, don't like NFTs. In fact, they're quite upset about them. They think that for some reason NFTs are going to pollute the world or something and cause massive climate change. Personally, I think the reason NFTs are dumb is because they're a waste of money. But I'm not going to get into the argument. If you like them, do whatever you want with your money. And I'm not kidding. The left in particular hates NFTs, and I'm pretty sure it's because of climate change or something. I haven't really looked into it. I just find it funny how they'll eat their own over this stuff. But there's a large number of people that are furious over this.
As the unofficial president, CEO, and superfan of the Brie Larson fan club, I don't like to see when she's getting an enormous amount of backlash. I am first and foremost one to admit I don't understand NFTs, but I'm not so dumb as to think that they aren't going to be a serious part of the next couple of years in our lives, you know, integrated into video games, integrated into movies, integrated into everything. Everyone's going to be so sick of NFTs. I won't outright call them a scam because I don't know enough to do that. I think a lot of people who don't know enough about things will just automatically reject them, like big brain people like Hassan. They don't really understand them, and then they say, oh, it's just automatically a bad thing.
But that just says everything, isn't it? Like, make up a bunch of reasons to get mad at Brie Larson. Brie Larson actually does something bad, And while you make videos on her talking about the backlash, you will barely criticize her yourself for these things, because like I said, these people are all grifters of this stuff, and they're appealing to their audience. And of course, right-wingers and libertarian types are more susceptible to doing stuff with cryptocurrencies and NFTs. You don't want to make them mad, and ultimately these people are probably thinking, like the courting especially has a lot of sponsorship deals, that he could maybe get a cryptocurrency or NFT sponsorship. You don't want to look like an idiot going on a big rant against Brie Larson, why she's promoting this scam, and then eventually promote this scam yourself. So to move on to the final point, something they've been mad at her about recently is this weird tweet that she made comparing herself to Shirley Temple. Like, I really don't understand this tweet either. It seems maybe like a bit narcissistic or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's pretty harmless. I don't really care. And I didn't know anti-SJWs were such massive fans of Shirley Temple. I want to go on a bit of a tangent a bit later, because there is a reason why conservatives would like Shirley Temple. I don't think these anti-SJWs really know much about her to actually be offended about what Brie Larson did.
Just when it seemed as if Brie Larson had begun to fix her image, the Marvel actress is now again at the center of more controversy. This time regarding a tweet comparing herself to Shirley Temple. Perhaps the most famous child actor of all time. Probably the most famous female, for sure. I think she won an Oscar when she was like 7. Shirley Temple was beloved by the world as an actress, then went on to become an ambassador to Ghana, chief protocol of the US, and an ambassador to Czechoslovakia. Maybe check that ego a bit.
And I have no idea what possessed Brie Larson to do something like this, why she needed to shade Shirley Temple almost in a way. It's very strange. But a lot of people are now pointing out that Brie Larson went out of her way to kind of shade someone who's a national treasure. How big of an ego do you have to have? Like, you feel the need to stroke your ego in this way, but it just kind of all goes back to Brie Larson is different. Like, even though a lot of her MCU co-stars, we saw the reaction that Don Cheadle and so many people had to her when she was around during interviews with them. She's just off-putting in a lot of ways. Maybe she just is really socially awkward or something. Why are you trying to shade someone that, one, is literally like an icon? The Shirley Temple is an icon who then went on to do incredible things after her acting life. Not sure why she chose this tactic.
I do find it funny. They think it's worthy of criticism that she disrespected Shirley Temple, who passed away like a decade ago, but the NFT thing isn't. It just is really, really bizarre to me. And like I said, I like going on little tangents, and I was just thinking, like, is there a reason why they care about Shirley Temple? And of course, people might know Shirley Temple, of course you know her for being a child actress, but being a US ambassador to Ghana is what she's famous for as well. Did you also know she was a very, very conservative woman as well, which we're going to get into? Again, just thought it would be a fun tangent. Shirley Temple's legacy, written by Donald T. Critchlow. Shortly after her divorce, she met Charles Alden Black, a United States Navy intelligence officer. He was wealthy and conservative. The couple relocated to Washington, D.C. when he was recalled to the Navy at the outbreak of the Korean War. While in Washington, Shirley Temple Black became interested in politics and government. They returned to California after the war. The Blacks were active in California Republican politics. She became an early backer of Richard Nixon in his unsuccessful run to the presidency in 1960 and for his bid for the governor of California in 1962. She backed Ronald Reagan in his successful race for governor of California in 1966. In 1967, she threw her own hat into the political arena when she ran in a special election in California's 11th congressional district. Ran as an avowed conservative, a supporter of the Vietnam War. In a campaign, she tried to tap into a public image as a Hollywood star and a conservative. Her problem was that people still saw her as a child star, and the image of her did not gel well with her hawkish views and a call for the increase of troop levels in Vietnam. Her campaign manager told the press that everybody knows who she is. The problem is to make them realize that she has grown up. She was not prepared for the rough and tumble of this kind of campaign, and she lost the primary. She remained in California politics as an active member of the California Republican Assembly, a state organization that had swung to the right in 1964 during the Goldwater campaign. Her public career was just getting started. Richard Nixon appointed her to serve as the U.S. representative to the United Nations General Assembly. Gerald Ford appointed her as the U.S. ambassador to the Republic of Ghana. She learned the native language and became well versed in the history and politics of the country. In 1989, Black accepted an appointment as a U.S. ambassador to Czechoslovakia and witnessed the country's velvet revolution from communism. So just because a lot of people frame it as like, oh, Shirley Temple, she became an ambassador, like that's some apolitical position. No, she became an ambassador because she campaigned for Richard Nixon and for Ronald Reagan to become governor of California, and then basically they rewarded her later by giving her ambassador positions in their own governments. So very, very interesting. Again, I don't actually believe these right-wing anti-SJWs are actually offended by Brie Larson comparing herself to a conservative politician and child actress from before. But again, now you know about Shirley Temple probably not being a very nice person. So one final thing I want to point out is that the quartering pretends now he doesn't hate her because he's kind of embracing the joke that he's totally obsessed with her. But she's also hidden his replies on her own YouTube channel. And he even admits himself he probably did go a bit too hard on her, but she deserved it for the original comment about 40-year-old white guys.
I mean, she came back to YouTube in January, and I'm extremely happy. She said she felt really nervous about making the video. Why? Here's my tweet that's hidden. My comments are hidden on her channel. Just truly sad because look at all I said was yes. I don't have any hate for Brie. Never have. Did I go hard on her, too hard on her early on? Probably. But when you say you don't care what some 4-year-old white guy has to say about your movie, well, you're going to get criticism.
And if this guy who still makes videos about her is self-aware enough to realize he probably did make too many of them, I think it says a lot about the entire anti-SJW obsession with Brie Larson specifically, because like I said, if she was highly controversial, if she was like this big Marxist, anti-capitalist, constantly saying stuff about like this type of politics and feminism and things like that, I could understand the obsession a bit more. I could understand the criticism a bit more. But when she is like a liberal feminist, given pretty standard like liberal takes about things, not saying they're totally wrong, but not saying they're very insightful or scathing, the obsession can only be explained by basically one thing, is that they were testing the waters with something fueled by, in my mind, bigotry. Lots of people picked up on it, lots of people liked it, and then she became basically a cash cow for these channels, cover everything about Brie Larson, basically harass Brie Larson on her own social media platforms as well as a result of this, and it will make you a lot of money. But when she actually does something worthy of criticism, you don't actually criticize her because it's something your audience might like, but you're happy to criticize her on loads and loads of totally irrelevant stuff because you have to keep up this Brie Larson content farm. Must be explained by them all being massive Shirley Temple fans, I guess. So that is it for the video. I can see my audio recording is about 30 minutes, so I'm thinking this video probably is going to be like at least 25 minutes, sadly, but I'm making progress and making these shorter. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments about the anti-SJW obsession with Brie Larson. If you want to follow me on social media, at the Kavernacle on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to join our community, check out my subreddit in the description. If you want to support my work, check out my Patreon. And if you made it this far, thank you all for watching.